Okay, welcome back guys. If you're new here, my name's Brody. I used to be a chippy. I was on the tools for 8 years and then I went into FIFO and underground mining for around about 10 months. And now I work completely online. I've fully quit both of those jobs in the digital products space, so digital products online. So I just wanted to jump on and speak about something that I hear a lot from you guys. A lot of you guys are wanting to get into the online space, get into doing what I do. But a thing that comes up a lot for you guys is time. You think you don't have time. And look, I get it. I've been a chippy, I've been a tradie, I've been in the mines. It can feel like you don't have a lot of time. But there's good news and there's bad news. The bad news, you're full of shit. You do have time. Everybody has time. And the good news is there's things that you can do to give yourself a lot more time than you think you have. So basically, when I started doing this stuff, I was working out in FIFO full time. I was doing 12-hour days, 6 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock at night. So if anyone didn't have time, it would be me. But what I did to, delegate my time and put it to good use was, I'd knock off work and then I'd put an hour in, and an hour or two, or sometimes even 3 hours into learning what I needed to do to get to my goals. Now I had these big goals of, replacing my FIFO income, leaving my job so that I wouldn't have to go back to my trade, because FIFO was not a long-term thing for me. So I was willing to do, whatever it took to learn the skills that I needed to learn to be able to achieve those goals. So yeah, if you're a FIFO worker, obviously you knock off your 12-hour shift, you're fucked, you feel like going and having a beer, you just want to lay in your room and doom scroll. But if you have similar goals to me, you can't be doing that sort of shit. As hard as it may be to hear, if you've got these big goals, you need to prioritize your time a lot better. I was no different for me. I would love nothing more than knock off and go for a beer with my workmates. But I knew doing that was not going to get me to the place that I wanted to be. So like I said, I'd spend an hour, 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours after work with my head in my laptop, getting to work, learning as much as I could, so that the time that I was sacrificing was only going to have to be, a couple of months. But if you drag it out, you do a bit here and there, you still go do all the shit that has got you to the position that you're in, you're not going to be able to get out of your job. And like I said, I know what it's like. You knock off work, you just feel like laying in your room, sitting on your phone and doom scrolling on Instagram, TikTok, all that shit to give you that bit of a dopamine hit. However, clearly that is not optimal. And if you actually break down your day, you'll find you have a lot more time than what you think. There's 24 hours in a day, right? So if you work a 12-hour shift, you're in the mines, you've got 12 hours that you're not at work that you can be doing something. So let's say give you 8 hours sleep. Most people don't need 8 hours sleep. 6 or 7 is adequate. So yeah, 12 hours work, another 8 hours. You've got 4 more hours of your day that you could be working on, something else, working towards your goals. 4 hours is a lot of time. You don't need to put 4 hours a day into doing what I do when you first start. And a lot of people, have the misconception that, to get into this sort of thing, you have to drop everything. You have to quit your job. And that's just simply not the case, because most people don't have the luxury of just quitting their job straight away. 99% of people don't have that luxury, and neither did I. So you need to, balance your time, prioritize your time so that you can get yourself to the position that you want to be in. So even if that means, like I mentioned before, cutting out going for beers at the mess after work. When you knock off, put your phone down, get your laptop out, do your work, and don't even look at your phone for 2 hours. And I think you'll find you will achieve a lot more than what you think you could. And also, like, if you're a tradie working in town, you work 8-10 hours a day, you've got even more time after work. And even if that means, getting up an hour earlier than you normally would, if you start work at 6, and you normally get up at 5, get up at 4. Give yourself an hour. That way you're going to work for the day and you've already done an hour worth of pushing the needle forward towards your goals. And then let's say, you know, you knock off at 4 or 5 in the afternoon and you don't go to bed until 10. You've got 5 or 6 hours that you can be, you know, putting your time to good use. And I know for me, obviously I had to make sacrifices. While I was on break, I'd have a week off or 2 weeks off. So normally, I love my fishing, I love camping. I would do that every single break before I started this stuff. So what I did, I had to make the sacrifice. I didn't go fishing for 3 months. I didn't go camping for 3 months. I didn't do pretty much anything that wasn't getting me towards my goal. Cut out the fishing, cut out the doom scrolling, cut out getting on the beers with my mates. And it only has to be a short-term sacrifice. You don't have to make this sacrifice for the next 10 years. It only has to be for a couple of months. So it's about, you know, having that delayed gratification, that knowing that if you put your head down, go balls to the wall for a couple of months, it's gonna give you that freedom down the track, you know, 3 or 4 months time. You're gonna be able to go and do those things because you put your head down now and prioritized your time. So I know it might be tough to hear, but you've got fucking time. Everybody has time. It's just about, you know, making those small sacrifices in the short term for that long-term gain. And I mean, not to brag or anything, but you know, I'm able to travel overseas now and still earn a living. I'm able to go fishing on a fucking random Wednesday if I want to, because I sacrificed those first 3 months to learn everything I needed to learn and get myself set up so that I can go and do those things. So yeah, even if that means, you know, sacrificing your surfing time. You might be a surfer, you might like to go surfing for after work for 3 hours. Just sacrifice that time for 3 months. In the whole grand scheme of things, 3 months is fuck all. And it's also about, one thing I struggled with was time management. So one thing I've done to nullify that was plan out my day the day before. So I've got on my computer, my Google Calendar, everything I need to do for every hour of the day, so that when I wake up in the morning, I know exactly what I'm doing. The thing that will bring you unstuck is if you wake up, you know you need to do things, but you don't actually know what you need to do because you've got nothing planned out. So if you have it all planned out, then you wake up, all you've got to do is do it. And you'll find you'll get things done a lot quicker, simply because you were organized and you planned out your day. And that's one thing I've had to overcome, and I'm still far from perfect, but it has definitely gotten a lot easier since I started using my calendar and, you know, planning out my day the day before. And even your week, you can plan out your whole week, and that way you start your week on Monday. Obviously you're still working, but you know, if you get up an hour early, you know you've got to get this done. You knock off, you know you've got to get this done. The next day and the next day and the next day, you know exactly what you need to do. So yeah, I hope that helps. Obviously, the main point I'm trying to get across is just make those small sacrifices in the short term, and you will reap the rewards down the track. But yeah, that's pretty much all for my little yap about time. If you have any further questions, hit me up on Instagram. I'll be happy to answer them. But yeah, start prioritizing your time better and you will reap the rewards. Cheers.